everybody, Kathy from Mystic Shield Tarot here. I just wanted to share with you a quick deck review. This deck just came out in September and it's called the Subtle Body Oracle deck, and it's through Cindy Dale, who is an energy healer. I have tried to read Cindy's work and find it very challenging. I do Reiki and energy work myself, and it just didn't resonate with me, which is totally fine. But her tarot deck or her oracle deck totally resonates with me. So let's have a look at it. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck. And I think that's the first thing that I was drawn to when I was looking online. It was my birthday and I wanted a new deck, and I saw this and I was just like, holy moly, I want this. And I knew nothing about Cindy Dale, and I tried to read her work after I got this deck, and it just didn't resonate with me. However, like I said, the deck does. I'm repeating myself. So it opens, this is just a very pretty, very beautiful box, very energetic feeling. There's information on the back, just like there would be. And then when you look inside, we have the book about the deck. And it doesn't give you a ton of information, I will say that. It isn't a typical oracle card description. So I'll just show you really quickly. So it gives you some information about energy work and the energetic body, the subtle body a little bit, and then it tells you about the different cards and the structure of it. So it gives that list, and then what it does is in the first part, it talks to you about the different systems and what they're about. Like this is talking about the chakras, and then it gives you this little breakdown of the chakra system. So it'll say the first chakra, it's in the hip region, its color is red, and its keyword is safety and security. This is the first layer of information if you're going to be reading the deck that you would go to. So it goes through that. It goes through meridians in much the same way. It gives you the information. And then there's also a card. Each section has its own main card about just meridians. And it also, I think in the beginning, tells you, what that main card would be about. Then there's the 12 auric fields and their descriptions and the function and the keywords. So this is your first bit of information about the cards. And then after that, we talk about the subtle elements. And then part 2 is talking about how to use the cards. It gives you, the way intuition might come to you. It's very cursory, very quick little crash course and that kind of stuff. It would be not probably the best book to use to actually learn how to do these things, but it does at least give you some basics. And then from there, it talks about different ways to get guidance, and then talks about the subtle body oracle itself, and it gives you some tarot spreads, or I keep calling it oracle spreads, which I haven't really done an entire spread just with this deck. I'll talk more about how I use it in a minute. Then part 3 is the other place where you can look up information about the cards, and they call them clues. So you see chakra card clues, and what it is we go further on, and you'll see, it'll say, so like I said before, I think this is actually where you find out about the main card. So it'll give you this 12 chakra system, which is one of the cards in the deck that just represents the whole system. And it gives you a question. So if you pull this card, intuitively request to understand what wisdom is needed from or for your entire chakra system, what energizes every aspect of your being. So it gives you kind of this little bit of an idea and a question. And the first chakra, tune into this root chakra in the hips and embrace being wild alive. What action will initiate more physical security? So that is what you get with this deck as far as oracle, the answers to what the cards mean. That's it. It doesn't say this means this. It's more like this is what it's related to, and here's a question to ask yourself, which isn't really my favorite style of card description that I've ever seen. It's the only time I've ever seen it like this. It's interesting. It's thought-provoking. It could be great for like journal prompts and things like that. But as far as actually giving someone a reading, if you were relying solely on the book, I think it would leave something to be desired. So that is the book. That's what is inside of it. And I don't use it really, unless I'm like really stuck on a card or something like that. It just isn't that helpful, though I might actually use it for journal prompts or something like that. That could be interesting. So here is the actual deck, which is where, to me, the magic happens. And this is a great deck, I think, if you read intuitively, or if you read with images instead of looking at the card meanings, because you're really not going to get that much help from it. So let's have a look at the cards themselves. They are beautiful. I love the richness of the colors. The symbolism is gorgeous. The little keywords at the bottom are very helpful, and they're pretty much like almost close enough to reading in the book if you needed to do that. I know about the chakra system. I don't know about the 12 chakra system. To me, it's 7 or 8. And that's an area where, her beliefs and mine kind of diverge. And part of the reason I couldn't get as into it, or like the idea that there are so many auric fields, I don't have a lot of experience with that. And I also don't know that her philosophy is the one that I would go by. However, I do feel like there is value in the cards, even when they represent something that I don't necessarily agree with as far as like a practice for energy work, but they symbolize something to do with the reading, so even if you were to pick up this deck and you don't believe in any of these things, you could still do a reading from it and say, all right, well, this is the 10th auric field and it reveals events across time, so this card has to do with events across time, and that's it. It doesn't matter what you believe as far as the auric fields go, and that's kind of how I read it. And so you would take this information and then take the the image on the card and see what that means to you in that instance, how it interacts with the other cards, and that's how I read it. That's how you could read it. And just like the positions of the body just are, to me, like very stunning. And it's interesting too, like if you're interested in learning the meridians, which is like acupuncture, Chinese medicine stuff, it's kind of a good way to learn that. So it is like a nice way to learn some of these systems, which I that do exist and have been solidly known from before this person started talking about other chakras and other things like that. And the fire element. So the way that I use this deck, and if you watch my reading that I posted today, you'll see I use it as like a card to go along with the tarot cards or with other oracle cards. So what I do is I use it as a way, like I'll just pull it out as a card to enhance the reading or give me more direction. And I really like it because it can definitely give you, it kind of, like any oracle card, it kind of caps off or summarizes a reading or just kind of clarifies things in a way that's bigger. And so, for example, if I was reading, and let's say, I got the star element and then the star card showed up in the reading, I would know that that is very significant and I would put more emphasis on the star card. Or if the fire element came up and there were a lot of wands, or if the fire came up and there were all cups, that would be very significant in the reading, because that would mean there's some kind of like very fundamental conflict within the person I was reading for. So just to give you an idea, but just the colors, it's really, to me, beautiful and very magical looking. What a gorgeous symbol. So I absolutely love this deck, and I highly recommend it to anyone who feels like the images speak to them, because they really are great to read. And they just add this oomph, to a reading. I feel like, look at how beautiful that is. So that's my review of this Subtle Body Oracle deck. I will put a link in the bottom for anyone who wants to buy it. It probably will be, a link that will give me a little bit of a kickback if you do buy it on Amazon. So just a heads up on that. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help me out, which is always nice. So I'll, on this channel, I know I just started it, but I'll be doing deck reviews and I'll be doing readings and things like that. So if that's something you're into, please subscribe and give it a like, and I would be so appreciative. Thank you so much. Bye.